Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. It'll be interesting to see the change in sound, because the other place was a dead sound because it was so claustrophobic really. It was very enclosed and the plants were all squashed up together, whereas this place is open. It's got like an echo. Anyway, I've got a nasty job to do before I get cracking on the orchids. Down on our hands and knees, I had noticed it before, but Hannah really noticed it. Get down on this floor has a greasy feel to it and it's not nice. So I think they used some sort of chemical to clean this floor, and it should have been rinsed and it didn't get rinsed, and whatever it is still on it and it feels greasy, it sticks to you. And obviously at some point the cats will probably come out here. And whatever it is, unknown, I don't want them getting it on their paws. So I've got to wash this floor now. Oh yes, it would have been a good idea to do it before all the kit arrived. The time got changed, as you realised. The plan to get Hannah's help was this coming weekend, the 8th and the 9th. But other things changed at her end, which meant she couldn't come. So either she came the weekend just gone, or like 2 or 3 weeks' time. And I could, I wasn't prepared to be going backwards and forwards dealing with the orchids that long. So we got it done in that weekend. But this floor has got something on it that I need to get off. So I'm using the Vander bucket, multi-roll Vander bucket. It's now a floor washing bucket with a mop. So luckily these shelving units in their little trays, all the shelving units' feet are sat in one of those. The reason being that won't mark the floor and it distributes the weight, so it won't mark the floor. Whereas the bottom of these things, they're manky, and they'll also put a pressure point on the on the vinyl. So that's the idea, spread the load. But it does mean they're movable even when they're loaded up with the plants. They just slide. And for those of you who didn't see these when I got them together, these are what the mounts are going on. So basically it's just a clothes rail, but I must put my coffee down for a minute. I don't want to let go of that for very long. Now the idea is for everything to fall over. It doesn't just stand up, does it? No. So the idea is these racks that were up on the roof in the other place with all the mounts hanging off of them are going to go on here, and they're going to get wired on higher, so that I'll go up about as high as I can reach, or a fraction taller, to make maximum use of the height of this roof, which is a lot higher than the other one was. So by putting 2 or 3 of these, they can even hang out the end. As long as they're wired on tightly like that, that'll be fine, and they're on wheels. So they can go wherever I want. When I'm working in one area, they'll just push out the way. And there is a lot of out of the way here, which there wasn't before. So that's today's job, is to get all these set up and get the mounts watered and up on these rails. I suspect the rest of the orchids won't get done today. They'll stay in their racks. And then the idea would probably be to water them as I get them out of their racks and boxes, and initially they will probably get plonked on a shelf. Not any particular shelf, just a shelf. And then over time I'll gradually get them back into their sets, which is how they were before. Yeah, so first job, mop the floor. We brought the doormats over from the other house. It's a little bit sad, but Mojo won't settle. He's obviously far more susceptible to change, and he's not relaxed at all. And as a consequence, he keeps missing the litter tray, which is a bit of a nuisance. So we brought the doormats over, and the coconut mat, he used to use that for scratching. Yeah, he doesn't use the scratching post like Elvis does. They just seem to want to do everything differently. But he used that doormat. So that's a familiar thing. We're trying to get as many familiar things in here. And now, as far as getting him settled is concerned, I'm now here for the foreseeable future. I have no reason to go out. There was going to be a committee meeting on Thursday evening, but it turns out it was a show committee meeting. That was mislabelled, so I don't need to go. I have no reason to go out. I've got a food delivery coming. I need to just be here now and try and get this place to feel as normal as possible. So yeah, so first job today is get everything from there over here. There's plenty of room. Just get it all over here, mop that bit, and then put the stuff back again. I don't really need to wait for it to dry. It's not, you know, it's not like it's going to get, you know, if it's still damp, it doesn't matter. So that's the first job today, and then I'll get the wiring done on here, which I may film, possibly speed it up, and then start getting the mounts done. They desperately need watering. They've been, I think this is the 7th day now, but then they didn't get the heat because I wasn't over there, living over there. They didn't get the door open in the daytime, which let the residual heat in, which gave me a daytime temperature rise. They were just maintained at that 14-15 degrees, so virtually dormant, quite honestly. So they'll be fine. I can see one new bloom. I'll deal with that tomorrow when I'm doing the pots. So I need to get on and get something done today. And we'll see how we go. But yeah. I'm pleased with the fact that we got everything over here. I don't think anything's been damaged. There's going to be an odd bent leaf, but I don't think I've broken any spikes or anything. The things that are most likely to have been damaged are the twinkles, because obviously all the mounts had to lie flat. But I think we positioned them in such a way that the spikes weren't getting squashed. We'll find out in a minute or tomorrow. Yeah, so that's the idea for today. Get this floor clean, get the wiring done onto these wheelie things. They're not that strong, but they don't need to be, because it's vertical weight. You know, the weight is just pushing down, it's not trying to tip them or anything like that. So I think it'll work okay, and I might not even need to, but I probably will. And I don't want to go out too far, although it sounds like an idea to get as much space as possible. If they get too wide, then they're not going to manoeuvre as well. They might even get in each other's way. So anyway, I've got to get this floor done and then see what happens. It's pretty hot water, and it's a floor cleaner, not just ordinary soap. And it says it doesn't have to be rinsed. It leaves no residual sort of stuff. So we'll see how I go. As I said, I might end up doing half of it and then just leave it for a bit just to sort of dry off. Then move the shelves back. Probably do the middle and then do the far side. So that's what I'm up to today, and I might add some bits onto this film. If I don't know when it's going to get posted, but it won't be today, and it probably won't be tomorrow. I don't know. I've still got a backlog of videos, one of which you'll find interesting. Yeah, so I'll crack on. As I said, I may add some more on, but the first normal video, camera on the tripod, in the new place, even though it's not normal yet because the plants aren't sorted. But I know something that's going to be very, very different from this sort of angle is the place is going to look empty. It's the same number of orchids, but it's going to look empty because of the sheer amount of space out here. We shall see. My idea is probably to get another quite large shelving unit, which I've got room for, and spread the plants out, because that helps with airflow, and the other thing it helps with is stopping bug spread. All plants touching together, it only needs one to have bugs, and they'll move because they're touching. They'll go and find the tastiest bit, whereas if they're not touching, they normally tend to stay where they are, so it helps with that as well. But it's the airflow and the amount of light around the plant that's not, you know, not all squashed up together. So that's a theory for the future, but not for a while yet. Right, if I don't add any bits on, see you next time. If I do, coming now. Okay, floor's mainly dry now, and I've rubbed my hand off over the pieces that are dry, and it now feels right. You know, there's nothing sticky or... The floor actually felt slimy. It was weird, but whatever it was wasn't wanted, and it seems to have mopped off reasonably well, so that's good. And mopping the floor you know, now and again will become a habit anyway, because I don't want this floor getting messed up. So my idea is that when I water the mounts, the pots don't matter that much. They've all got their own drip trays. All I've got to do is remember not to tip the water on the floor. Actually put it in a proper container, which will be a habit that will be difficult to break, but given the clearing up I'll have to do if I forget, I'll soon get that habit going. Yeah, I mean, there'll be some splashing the way I water with my watering bowls, and that will be in one particular place, and I'll just mop it up. So, you know, there is a little bit of extra mopping to do to keep the floor in a reasonable condition. But I just wanted to film, in case some of you didn't quite get what I had in mind for the mounts, is this is what I've done. Those racks that went on the roof have just been wired onto here. And my mounts can just hang on here at various heights and on both sides, because it's quite even light in here. It's a pity I didn't have 6 of these, because these work quite nicely, but I only had 5, so I put 2 across. These went upright, and this can be extended. I can always get something else to, you know, extend this if I need to, and then 2 across there and 1 sort of dangling in the middle, but I've fixed it so it won't wobble about too much. So that gives me more hanging space than I had before, because I've used that one extra prior to that, but then I didn't use that one. That one was wired up in the roof. That's a shelf that actually fits on there, you know, obviously with some poles, but I want to be able to get at the windowsill here. So this top shelf here might not even have plants on it, because they'll get knocked if I'm going to open. I don't think I'll open the window that often actually, but anyway, I've still got this one. It looks like it's spare to hang in the roof, but the fact that it's all rusty and covered in cobwebs, it didn't come out of the roof. It came off of the floor somewhere. And floor level shelves are brilliant for the moss. Because, you know, I mean, I don't use it very often. To bend down and pick up one of those, you know, from virtually floor level, occasionally is not a big deal. As I said, I try and keep the plants as high as possible so that I don't have to keep bending to get at them. But you can't do it all the time, you know. So yeah, I'm going to water the mounts now. I'm going to go and have a look at my notes and see if they've had any food. And what I really need to know is when the resters were last watered, things like the Jenkinsii and the Lindleyi, because they're total resters, and I need to find out when they were last watered. They won't get fed, but normally if I add a little bit of feed into the mounts, because you know, so all the twinkles and everything have got spikes on. You know, they do need a little bit of feed now and again. They can't go just on water. And I will show you now, because I probably won't film anything else today. We do have a new bloom. What about that beauty then? Yeah, that caught my eye when I bought that. That just caught my eye, and I thought, I'm having that with those colours. I'm having that. So the first one, that's got 2 spikes on that plant. So coming on, first one to open. Very attractive colours. And over here, this, I was just going to say these racks are in the way. They just push out of the way, don't they? This spike's fully open now, and this one started. So, you know, in another 4 or 5 days, that'll be a nice splash of red. You don't get much red in here. And as I said, as I get the twinkles out, you know, we'll get them up on the racks, we'll have a look. Tiny twinkle. Is that tiny twinkle? Yeah, tiny twinkle's just started to open. This one's not far off, but that's not a twinkle. And there's some more twinkle blooms tucked away down there. So, as I said, once I get all this set up, we can go round again. The Thailand Black has got its second bud open now. Third one looks like it's blasted, but that's not a happy plant. So getting 2 is pretty good. I don't think there's much else around at the moment. But yeah, I need to water the mounts because they're well overdue. And the rest of the plants will get left until tomorrow. They can just stay in their crates. We'll get the mounts watered and get them set up on these racks. And yeah, we'll go from there. So that'll do for... Sorry, I'm just trying to find bits of cobwebs everywhere. I don't really want to just keep chucking things on the floor like I used to. But yeah, we've got a box full of mounts up there, box full of mounts there, and a huge tray full of the larger ones there, and they're all on top of each other and all and those there. So there's a lot of mounts to do, and as I said, they all need some water, and all I've got to do is check the resters to see if they come in this run or not. And if they don't come in this run, I can put a little bit of feed in. That's how I work it. So we'll go from there, and yeah. More to come, obviously, as I get more and more set up, but it will take time. And the shelving might not stay where it is. It still might get moved. I'm still not quite sure. But I will see. As I said, I need access. This bit here is a lot more shade over here. I know there's two huge trays on the top, which makes it look more shaded. But those could actually go round, you know, one that way and the other one that way. So that just for light purposes, just to get more light, if you see what I mean. I could even do the same here, you know, have one along there and then one along there. But I'm thinking about that. You know, I've got more than enough floor space. I don't need to arrange shelves to gain floor space. All I need to do is, if I'm going to arrange shelves, it will be purely for the plants that are on them. And it will be to gain light or something like that. Anyway, that'll do for filming today, and I'm sure I shall find something else tomorrow. Now today is actually Tuesday. I don't know when this will get posted, but you know, if I post a video that was filmed a few days before, I always put in at the top of the description when it was filmed, so that it's in context with the flow of days, if you see what I mean. So yeah, I will carry on putting these videos in the playlist, Moving with Orchids, until I'm happy that everything's sort of roughly where it's going to go. And then it's basically, this is the new setup. We've finished with the moving and the arranging and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think these are going to work quite well. They can just go anywhere, literally. So yeah, right, see you next time. Always a difference between the theory and the practice. These racks in theory work, and in practice they nearly work. The problem is they are relatively flimsy, and when they've got no weight on them, it doesn't matter. But now that they have, and it's all at the top, they could easily topple. If I was moving them around on the wheels and like a wheel got caught on something, the whole thing would go over because it's so top heavy. So what I need to do, I'm not going to do it now, but what I need to do, this pole slides down inside this one and is held in place by this clamp. This needs to go in there a bit more. It's too near the top, so this joint is unstable for the weight that's now on it. So this pole now needs to be far enough down in there, another 3 or 4 inches, so that that joint becomes stable. And then, okay, I lose a bit of overall height, but I really don't think that matters, because the light level doesn't change that much, unlike the other place. It doesn't get brighter as you get towards the roof. It's quite even. So but anyway, that's the basic principle, is to have plants on both sides, yeah, and obviously the highest light ones near the top, the ones that need less light lower down, that get a bit of shade from the ones above. Yeah, Tiny Twinkle is opening its first spike. The Red Fantasy's got some blooms open. This one looks like it's going to open in the not too distant future, and it looks like it will be yellow. What else have we got? We've got a single Tolumnia open here, and the Cernua is still looking good on here, and we've still got that, we did get a bit of damage there, one of the blooms got whacked, but give them what treatment they got. And I've decided my little air plants are going to get a bit more looking after before they die. And then round this side again, highlight ones at the top, Cattleya types, and then coming down to lower light ones. And Yeah, my Hercoglossum almost gets a place to itself, it's so big. So that's it, that's done for the day now. There is a lot of dripping goes on when I water the mounts, but it just mops up. It's not a big deal. And there was a bit of splashing on the water table onto the floor, it mops up. Now in the summertime it might not get mopped up because the humidity will be appreciated, but not now. So that's me done for the day, and already it looks a bit more like a grow room. I mean, that obviously that's 3 boxes and a large tray that are now not in here because the plants are up on the racks. And then we'll start on the actual crates of potted plants tomorrow and get some of them in the right place. Whether I get them all done or not, I don't know, because again I'll water them as I go. So, but we'll get cracking on that tomorrow and see how we get on. It'll be a couple of weeks, I think, before this takes shape, and I'm happy with the positioning of every single plant. But yeah, as we do the pots, it might be nice if I set the camera up on the tripod and just talk about each plant. And, you know, does it need a high shelf? Does it need the brightest light I've got? Can it go on a lower shelf? Is it a tall plant so it can't go on a lower shelf? All those sort of things will come into play. And they'll end up in similar sets to how they were before. Right, see you next time. Bye for now.